Hello everybody and welcome back to the Consumables YouTube channel where we have freshly squeezed content for you today. We are going to be talking about the 2024 Grammys. They are coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I just wanted to go over some of the records from this past year and give my opinions on what was nominated and how things might end up going down pretty much. I took the time out to listen to some of the songs from most of these records that I'm going to talk about today, but I do know a lot about most of these records considering they were some of the biggest records of this past year. So here we go. We're going to start with Record of the Year. So Record of the Year is awarded to the artists and to the producers, recording engineers, mixers, and mastering engineers if your song is chosen. Song of the Year is different from Record of the Year, and we'll go into that a little bit later, but basically this one awards a broader spectrum of the people who worked on the song. So the nominees are Worship by Jon Batiste, Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius, Flowers by Miley Cyrus, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, On My Mama by Victoria Monet, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift, and Kill Bill by SZA. I thought this was a pretty big group of songs for Record of the Year. There's 8 of them, but it's actually a shorter list than it was last year, so I'm kind of surprised that they have this many songs clocking in this type of category. You would think they would really narrow it down to a specific number every time, but I guess they don't. That being said, I love Worship by Jon Batiste. I think that one was a really creative song. Surprised to see it here, but I think it is a really good song and I'm really happy with that. Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius. I really didn't listen to this record too much. I actually haven't listened to any of the stuff they've done in particularly, but I did take the time out to listen to this track and I really do enjoy the songwriting on this. It's very introspective. I love songs like, it's always cool when artists come together and form like a super group of some kind, and this is kind of like just one of those things that we don't see too often, I guess, and it's cool that not only did they do it once, but they came together a second time. Hoping we get the same type of thing with Silk Sonic, because that was really cool to see Bruno Mars take his fame and kind of hype somebody else up who also deserves that type of fame, and they became such a big duo for that couple of years that they were doing the thing. Flowers by Miley Cyrus is an obvious choice. It's probably gonna take this, to be honest. I love that song very much. It was just everywhere. I couldn't escape it. Like, even if I wasn't listening to it on my own, it was everywhere I was. What Was I Made For is beautiful. Me and my best friend and my husband just talked about this on the podcast recently, but it's just such a somber, heartfelt song, and we all get very emotional when we hear it, so it definitely deserves a spot here. I always say that it's so funny to me that I enjoy that song so much because when I first heard it, it did remind me of, very stripped back Billie, and we get a lot of that from her, so when I first heard it, I did write it off right away, but literally I think by the third listen, I was like, oh, this is breathtaking. On My Mama by Victoria Monet is great. I love to see some R&B representation in this category. I'm really thinking that in the next couple of years, after we're done shifting away from this alternative rock kind of resurgence that we saw recently, I think we're going to shift into that Y2K aesthetic again, and we're seeing a lot of that with fashion, so I do feel like we're going to get a lot of R&B hits in 2024, 2025 maybe, and I think that this is a testament to that. I think that this being here says, yeah, R&B is important and songs like these are great and it deserves a spot. Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo still surprises me. It's the time frame on this award is pretty crazy. The online entry process access period, or the OEP, takes place from July 2023 to August 2023. That's when I guess you have to turn in your song, and basically the votes go all the way until January 2024, and then results are obviously premiered on the night of, and this year it's on February 4th. So to me, I'm just shocked to see this here. I mean, Olivia is such a big name. I've heard that her label put millions of dollars into this record, including promotion is what I mean, not just the album itself. So they really wanted this to do numbers. They really wanted this to do well, and if this gets a Grammy, they pretty much accomplished what they were going for. Anti-Hero Hero by Taylor Swift is a given. The songwriting on that is absolutely insane. That second verse kills it every single time for me. Jack Antonoff is all over this list, if you ask me. He's on so many different tracks that are nominated this year. Lastly is Kill Bill by SZA. I love this song. It's one of the best songs on the record. Not to say it is the best, because there are some really, really, really good songs on this album, but it is definitely the hit. I would love to see her win something this year. I'm not sure if it's gonna be this category. I really feel like Record of the Year is gonna go to Flowers, and if it doesn't go to Flowers, it's probably gonna go to Billie, like, no lie. The next award is Album of the Year. So Album of the Year is awarded to the artists and to the featured artists, songwriters of new material, producers, recording engineers, mixers, and mastering engineers credited with 20% or more playing time of the album. So basically anybody that had a part in putting together the album is gonna get this award. First up is World Music Radio by Jon Batiste. I didn't listen to this record a whole lot, but listening to Worship really kind of made me want to venture into that more. Worship is a really great song, and I'm probably going to end up listening to that album in the next couple weeks, to be honest. Next up is The Record by Boy Genius. Like I was saying earlier, I really don't listen to a whole lot of their music. I didn't listen to this record at all, but I mean, it does really well on the charts, and I still hear everyone talking about it, so I know it's good music. And actually listening to the song that's kind of leading this thing, it made me respect it more. And it's singer-songwriter, so I'm sure eventually I'm going to listen to it. Like, it took me a minute to fall in love with Noah Kahan too, but now I can't stop listening to him, so I'm sure it'll happen. Endless Summer Vacation by Miley Cyrus is next up. This album smashed for me. I thought there was a lot of potential in a lot of these songs to be hits. I was surprised when River didn't do well. I thought that song was going to be really big, and it wasn't. Also surprised she didn't follow it up with anything strong. I think Rose Colored Lenses should have been a single for sure. Violet Chemistry, obviously. And I don't know, I even thought Jaded was going to become a big viral thing, because that was seeing some traction there for a minute and some push from the team. So when none of that kind of stuff happened, I was kind of shook. Next up is Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard by Lana Del Rey. This, to me, is a Lana Del Rey staple album. I cannot get enough of this. I won't lie to you. I stopped kind of listening to her music over the pandemic. I want to say that for me started with Chemtrails Over the Country Club for me. I really tried to get into that, but I just couldn't. I really loved that cover art. I was really excited to see what she'd do. But with that and then Blue Banisters, I just fell off. I was still appreciative of what she does, but I was listening to her previous records way more than I was even attempting to listen to these in their entirety. But this latest one, it just feels like she found her spot. Like, it's a great record. It's got plenty of different types of sounds in it and something for everybody. I think that it doesn't feel like she was pressured to add any type of pop influence into the album, but we definitely got that, even if it wasn't something that was asked for, except for by her fans, because obviously we love when she does that shit. Next up is Age of Pleasure by Janelle Monáe. I think that she's an amazing artist. She's very conceptual, and this one felt like a very freeing experience for her. I feel like maybe a lot of the time she feels a pressure to present as a very strong character, and I feel like she does that in this album, but she does it in a very free way. And I just love the way that she explores sexuality in this album. Just the name alone, says it all. So I think that as much as I like this album, I don't think that it's gonna win the award, even though that would be great. It just probably would have had to have had a huge lead in order for that to happen. Next up is Guts by Olivia Rodrigo. Still surprised to see this so early on. I would think that this would make next year's list, just because they're gonna be pushing it all this year. She's probably gonna have at least one more song that's gonna be a hit from this album, so I'm surprised they're pushing it so quickly into the Grammys. Daniel Nigro actually did a lot of work for a lot of artists this year on this list, so I'm not surprised to see it here. I'm just surprised to see it here so soon. Midnights by Taylor Swift is next. This is a wonderful little somber masterpiece. I think that her whole concept for this album was she wanted it to sound like that feeling of midnight, and a lot of these songs did that for me. I feel like maybe there should have been a couple more up-tempo tracks, but we got a pretty good amount of pop from her again, and that's something we haven't seen in a minute. I guess I should say hadn't seen in a minute, because we've gotten plenty of pop Taylor since then. Lastly on this list is SOS by SZA. I love this album so much. It got me through some very interesting times in my life when I was like switching up jobs in the past, and it's perfect to me. I remember when it was first coming out, I was nervous about how big it was. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, am I even gonna finish this thing? And I definitely did, and I definitely did multiple times, and I definitely do almost every day. I love her voice on all of these tracks. I think she picked great songs. I'm super stoked for the deluxe, even though at this point it's really not a deluxe. Like, this is a brand new album that we're getting, because it's just too far from the actual release date to be a deluxe, in my opinion. Out of all of these albums, I think that this is gonna go to SZA or Taylor Swift. The other albums are great. I just think that those two are the blockbusters of this list. Even though Lana's did well, I just don't know if it's gonna win. Next up is Song of the Year. So Song of the Year is awarded to the songwriters. A song is eligible if it was first released or if it first achieved prominence during the eligibility year. So basically, this is just whoever wrote the song is who's getting this award. So that's what I was telling you. The difference between Song of the Year and Record of the Year, even though they are both single formats, Song of the Year is just directed for the songwriters, and then Record of the Year is everybody who had something to do with the song as a whole. So first up is A&W, that was written by Jag Antonoff, Lana Del Rey, and Sam Dew. Next up is Anti-Hero, that was written by Jag Antonoff and Taylor Swift. After that, we have Butterfly by Jon Batiste and Dan Wilson. After that is Dance the Night from the Barbie album by Caroline Island, Dua Lipa, Mark Ronson, and Andrew Wyatt. Next up, we have Flowers, and that was written by Miley Cyrus, George Gregory Aldea Hine, and Michael Pollock. Then we have Kill Bill by Ross Bizzle, Carter Lang, and Solana Roa, which is SZA. Then we have Vampire by Daniel Nigro and Olivia Rodrigo. After that, we have What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish and written by Billy and Phineas. I think that Anti-Hero is going to end up taking this award. I really hope that they don't oversaturate us with Taylor winning, just because, I mean, as much as I would like to give her everything, I would like to see some other names win something big. But I think that in this instance, like, this one's for sure hers. Like, it's in the bag. Next up, we're going to talk about the Best New Artist. So this category recognizes an artist whose eligibility year releases achieved a breakthrough into the public consciousness and notably impacted the musical landscape. So basically, you could have released your music at any time, but if it became of cultural significance in the time frame of the eligibility year, you are considered a new artist, or a Best New Artist, I should say. So these are the nominees. We have Gracie Abrams, Fred Again, Ice Spice, Jelly Roll, Coco Jones, Noah Kahan, Victoria Monet, and The War and Treaty. I feel like Ice Spice or Jelly Roll are gonna win this one. I would like Noah Kahan to win it, but I really feel like, honestly, if we're being real, it's Ice Spice's. Next up is Best Pop Solo Performance. Best Pop Solo Performance is for new vocal or instrumental pop recording, singles or tracks only. So the songs on this list are Flowers by Miley Cyrus, Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, and Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift. I don't know why Paint the Town Red is on this. I know that the hook is a little bit poppy, but there's nothing in it that's a pop song. It's like an R&B rap song, so just because it's mainstream, I think that's why it's here, but I don't understand. I feel like it should be in a rap category somewhere. I don't see Vampire winning this. Anti-Hero, I'm hoping doesn't win this. I really hope that What Was I Made For by Billie wins this. I think that it captured a lot of hearts this year, and I think it deserves it. Best Pop Duo / Group Performance. So this is for new vocal or instrumental duo, group, or collaborative pop recordings. We have 1,000 Miles by Miley Cyrus featuring Brandi Carlile, Candy Necklace by Lana Del Rey featuring Jon Batiste, Never Felt So Alone by Labyrinth featuring Billie Eilish, Karma by Taylor Swift featuring Ice Spice, Ghost in the Machine by SZA featuring Phoebe Bridgers. Strangers. The odds of Miley winning this are very low. I don't think that Lana's gonna win this one either. The battle again comes down, for me at least, to Taylor Swift and SZA. I think Karma has a very good chance of winning just because it is the only song of this bunch that really hit top 10 other than the Labyrinth song. So that might be the curveball. It might end up being the Labyrinth song, but I think that Karma's gonna take it. Best pop vocal album. So the albums on this list are Chemistry by Kelly Clarkson, Endless Summer Vacation by Miley Cyrus, Guts by Olivia Rodrigo, Subtract by Ed Sheeran, and Midnights by Taylor Swift. If we are talking numbers, there's no denying that Taylor Swift is the winner of this category. If we're talking exposure, we know that Midnights was everywhere with the Eras tour. Antihero was huge. Lavender Haze was the radio hit of the album. Well, I guess Antihero was too, but I really feel like Lavender Haze was the pop song of the record. Karma, we got that remix of, and that was big. Hit the top 10 and stayed there for, I think, at least 3 weeks. The only other one on this list to really have multiple top 10s was Guts. The only issue I have with that winning is, yeah, it did have multiple songs that hit top 10, but the only one that had lasting power in that position was Vampire. Like, that stayed in the top 10 and has, but the other tracks, the other singles have not. And I think that, for me at least, that contributes to it not winning, at least from a statistic standpoint. Endless Summer Vacation obviously had the biggest song of all of these records, but that's just it. It was just one really big, huge song that kind of overshadowed the album. So I just don't think that it's going to win Best Pop Vocal Album. Chemistry is so cute to see on this list. I don't think that this was as big of an album as I wanted it to be, but it was kind of a resurgence for Kelly. We did see a lot of people praise this album, mostly for her vulnerability for her divorce, and I totally get that. But I really like that pop rock sound that she did with All I Ever Wanted, but I do understand that like Dr. Luke had a lot to do with that, so maybe she doesn't ever want to do it again. But I definitely don't think it's gonna win this year. I really don't want to give a third award to Miss Taylor just because, I mean, again, I don't want people to hate her, but I feel like she might actually win this. It was a huge album. Next up is Best Pop Dance Recording. So for solo, duo, group, or collaborative performances, vocal or instrumental, we have Baby Don't Hurt Me by David Guetta, Miracle by Calvin Harris, Padam Padam by Kylie Minogue, One in a Million by BB Rexa and David Guetta, and then we have Rush by Troye Sivan. I want Rush to win. I think that is the dance record of the year. It gets me going every single time, gets the heart rate pumping. It'd be cool to see some queer representation on the stage that night, and honestly, this song really took him to a different spot. I think it brought him into his adult era, and I'm definitely here for it. If Padam Padam wins, I wouldn't be disappointed because that is also a very, very good dance pop record. I do want to briefly talk about the best rock song category. Ballad of a Homeschool Girl by Olivia Rodrigo is nominated in this category this year, which shakes me. I think that yes, it is very much a rock leaning song. I just don't see anything she does as rock. You know, she's obviously a pop girly, so I get it though. It definitely has that sound. Just to give my opinion, I do think that this is the category that Not Strong Enough by Boy Genius will win. I think that that's going to be theirs. I also wanted to talk about Best Rock Album just because my favorite band of all time is nominated. Paramore is nominated this year for their newest album, This Is Why. I really hope it wins. Foo Fighters is a huge name. So is Greta Van Fleet, Metallica. I guess they all are. Queen of the Stone Age. I just really hope that Paramore wins. They did a really good thing with this album. They gave us a solid track list, and I would love to see them get a Grammy. Another Grammy. I also wanted to touch on Best Alternative Music Performance. A&W by Lana Del Rey and This Is Why by Paramore are both nominated here. So is Cool About It by Boy Genius. I really hope that this is the category that Lana wins. That song is a masterpiece and it deserves its tens. I also wanted to quickly touch on Best Progressive R&B Album. SZA's SOS is nominated. So is Janelle Monáe's Age of Pleasure. This might be Janelle's category. She might take this one. I also wanted to touch on Best Melodic Rap Performance. We have Doja Cat in this, and we have SZA in this category. Drake is nominated, so is Lil Durk and Burna Boy. I think that Doja has a very high chance of winning this with Attention. It was a very good lead single, and in my opinion, the biggest song on this list. For Best Rap Song, we have Attention by by Doja Cat. We have Barbie World by Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice featuring Aqua. Just Wanna Rock, which was Lil Uzi Vert. Rich Flex by Drake and 21 Savage. And Scientists and Engineers by Killer Mike featuring Andre 3000, Future, and Aaron Allen Kane. I think Nicki has a big chance of winning this, in my opinion. People are loving her this past year, and with the album release, there's just nothing but praise. So I really do feel like there's a really big chance that she could take that home this year. Same with Ice, like she could actually go home with 2 Grammys, which is insane. And those are pretty much all the categories that I wanted to talk about. If you did want to know what was nominated for Best Rap Album, we had Her Loss by Drake and 21 Savage, Michael by Killer Mike, Heroes and Villains by Metro Boomin, King's Disease 3 by Nas, and Utopia by Travis Scott. I haven't really listened to any of these albums other than the Drake record with 21 Savage, and the only thing I've heard from the Metro Boomin project was the song he did with The Weeknd. So I really don't have a lot to say about those, but I mean, if I had to pick one, I would assume that either Travis Scott or Drake is going to take that home this year. But it would be nice to see Metro Boomin take it home, just because I do see him nominated so much for producer and songwriter things. So it looks like he's working hard. It'd be cool to see him take that. Anyways, guys, that is my take on the 2024 Grammy nominations. How do we feel about the Grammys? I don't really think it's as big as it used to be, and I don't know if artists think it's as big of a deal as it used to be. It's an honor, obviously, but I feel like now the music landscape is just different. Nobody wants the accolades. Like, everyone's comfortable with getting the spotlight and having a piece of that pie and not trying to stand out in a way that's, I don't know, creative. Not to say they're not creative, but I mean, I've been seeing Nicki say that a lot lately, where she doesn't feel like people want to hone their craft and become the greatest. And that's true. Like, there's no fire in anybody's eyes that I'm seeing as people are coming into the spotlight. But yeah, let me know your guys' opinions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!